What's up guys, this is Void of Dust Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content, and today I've got a short beginner's guide for Jan, the Dream Painter, the latest hero that has been added to the hero roster in Arena of Valor. He is an assassin type of hero that I think perfectly fits as a solo laner or jungler. Today I've got a jungle gameplay for you. This is the first game that I've been playing with him ever. But I think just from this one single gameplay, we can draw a lot of conclusions on how to play this hero and on what he excels. He has the Dream Painter scroll as well as this really magnificent sword that he's going to bring to the battlefield. But I think first of all, before we get into the build, it's important that we take a closer look on his skills or abilities or spells, however you want to name that. Jan has a unique kind of skill enhancement. That means that you have some kind of stacking moment. You can get 2 stacks in, and your first and your second ability will change accordingly. So if you have 2 stacks and you are about to get the second stack with your first ability, it's going to be different to the second stack that you will get from your second ability. And this is really going to change how you are about to play him, but it kind of affects the combo, and this is, I think, the bread and butter that you need to know about this hero. So let's check it out quite quickly. So if you take his passive, you gain 1 stack of energy whenever he uses either the first or the second skill, and as soon as you reach the 2 stacks, his normal attack is going to be enhanced, and that just means that his enhanced attacks are going to apply on whenever you use the first or the second skill. When hitting an enemy, it doesn't matter if you hit it with your first or your second ability, you will already get some speed increase, 40 to 68% depending on the level that you have in game, and you're going to restore some max HP. So this is quite convenient. You're going to restore your health, which means you are going to last a little bit longer on the battlefield from clearing wildling camps in the jungle, but it's also quite neat to get some attack speed because it's just going to speed up your clear time so much faster. Your first attack is then called Splash Ink. It's a physical attack that's also causing knock up. That is true if you enhanced it, so you will deal additional physical damage. And when you have enhanced the attack, you will also smash areas in front. You can't move during this time as it states here in this, but you're going to deal additional damage and you're going to knock up enemies for 1.5 seconds. So this is your bread and butter skill, and it's the skill that you should level first because it's the skill that's going to deal the damage. This is your damage skill. Yeah, you can change it, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you've got this little twist here. It's going to change this, but you already get the information. If it's enhanced, you're going to have a knock-up effect. Second is the Coiling Dragon. You are going to move forward in the arc. Really important is he's untargetable while doing so. That means you can't be hit by towers or anything that is going to occur in your path. You're going to deal additional physical damage when you hit enemies in the path, and when the passive is unlocked because you used your second ability, you can dash towards the enemies in the other spectrum of the arc, and you're going to deal additional physical damage, and you're going to trigger an extra phase of his skill, which just gives you the moment that you can use it again. So it's basically the movement skill. It's a little bit tricky to use because it's an arc, so it's not a dash straight into the direction, but you're going to move around targets. But this is still the stuff what you're going to use to get into the ranks behind the front line of the enemy. It's not the best dash, I suppose, because you can't really travel through enemies because this arc kind of fear is not really granting you so much distance, but still it's a movement skill, and movement skills are always welcome. If it comes to your ultimate, it's quite huge. So you are going to remove a seal. Most important thing is that you're gaining super armor, which is also getting you to the point that you're taking 50% less damage while not being affected by crowd controls. After 1 second, he is going to deal additional damage to nearby enemies, so it's an area of effect thing. And when the second stage is unlocked of the ultimate, then it becomes enhanced, and this is linked to some additional things. So you gain physical penetration, increases the damage of both skills by 50%. If you have level 2 unlocked already, it's extending the duration of the enhanced state, so that you can use the ultimate multiple times. And the last but not least stage is that the enhanced normal attacks of his passive give him 1 stack of energy. So that's actually quite just a bonus, but it's important to know these kind of things if you're going to use the ultimate correctly. So the moment where he really shines is when his ultimate is reaching level 2, because that just means that you can use the ultimate multiple times and you will get some kind of dash into the enemies, and you're going to see that in the upcoming gameplay. But I think these are the most important things to note when it comes to Jan. So this was the kind of brief setup to know what he's about to do. He's an assassin, so what you're going to do, you want to get into the mid or back line of the enemies and use your first skill in accordance to what I've said about the passive and stuff. So your first ability with the knock-up is the stuff that you want to apply on the enemies, not the second ability. Sometimes you can't really help it, but this is the stuff that really makes him shine in game, and this is what we're going to talk about in the upcoming gameplay. So be prepared for that and enjoy it. It was my first game, and I think it was actually quite decent, so here we go. Alright, and before we are talking about the gameplay itself, so here's just a short wind-up of the build. This is my jungle layout. I'm building Leviathan. The rest of it is basically assassin or warrior status things that you want to have. It's Omni-Arms. I'm going to build Muramasa as the second item, and then I'm going into Fenris just to maximize my damage output. In terms of Arcana, I'm using my Marksman Warrior build to get more normal attacks, some armor pierce, and some movement speed. So this is 10 times Onslaught, 10 times Assassinate, and 10 times Skewer. I think this is the best way to build him up to get more damage into the account. And enchantment wise, I have been taking Desperate Duel because he is some kind of duelist. Shadowblade is actually quite neat because you are going to stack it up with all of your mobility things that you are going to take to the battlefield. Bone Cutter gains some resistance that is stacking up with your Gilded Reeves, as you have seen in the item build. You can also take the Deadly Claw if you have just the feeling that he's not that crazy in terms of damage at early game stages, but this is going to be a little bit better when it comes to the later stages of the game, and you've got some items. And of course, in the second line, we're building Enhanced Restore and Gunslinger, as most of the builds are just turning to, and I think that complements his build actually quite nicely. So this is the build. Now comes the gameplay. So here we go. To be honest with you, the beginning of the game was a little bit rough. As I said, this is the first game that I've ever played with this new hero, and I've just been using him in the hero trial 2 or 3 times in order to kind of get a feeling on how his abilities work when he is moving. But I've never played him before, and I think this is the best to get a beginner's guide up there, because a lot of players will start at this very point where I started. So I've been using my first ability to get this nice knock up. I think that's a really, really nice ability. Here's this arc where you can see how he travels, and we've just been using our abilities to clear the jungle a little bit faster. I was looking at my map and I saw that Bright was about to take place. Unfortunately, I'm not able to whittle him down because he has the ability to jump away from me. But otherwise, if he would not have the mobility, I think that would have been dead meat, and that would have been really nice to get a kill in the first minute, but unfortunately it wasn't granted to me. Because I was starting at blue buff, I've got a great opportunity to hit the bottom lane when I'm about to get to level 4, getting my ultimate, but there will be some mechanical issues or some mechanical things that I'm going to talk about later, because I've just never ever played this hero before, and especially I've never played him in jungle. But I think that is the beauty of a beginner's guide, because you guys are just going to get real hand information on how to play this champion. So first of all, what I want to talk about is the main combo, and I think the main combo is you want to enter the fight using your second ability, followed up by your first ability, and then this gives you the opportunity to follow up with this knock-up effect from the enhanced attacks. That is set if you have not yet received the ult, but as you can see, it's actually going to be quite fine, and now we're using ult afterwards, just resulting in another kill. But unfortunately the targeting prioritization of level has just been taken me, and because of that I was been killed. So S2, S1 auto attack, that is the way you want to go. If you've got ult up, put your ult in between and then go into S1 again to additionally proc another wave of knockup, and I think that is how you play this hero best. So it's plain simple. Forget about all the things that you have heard about in my skill description. The most important thing is that you are getting every single enhanced attack on your first ability, and you need to proc them twice. So what you're going to do is every single time you're using a skill, it's going to just give one mark to this to this stacking thing, and then if you receive the second mark, you're about to get the enhanced attack. So you can also sling in things between. Now I'm trying to use my ult. Unfortunately he is in his invulnerable state, so I can't really deal too much damage against him because my team wasn't really following up. I just didn't see it for any purposes. I was just thinking that my team was about to approach the dragon because we wanted to clear it, but I think that was the wrong decision, so I need to get back. So I would advise you guys to play him as he is an assassin, more sorts of assassin-like. You're not a brawler, you're not the person who is about to enter the fight or start the fight. You are about to get into the fight when your team has already been doing things, and then you can use the knock-up as I just did against Grog, and being beneficial for your team because you've got some CC. So I think that's how you play him, and I think that's how you play him best. Use him as an assassin. That's just his determined role, and the game has already said it because they ranked him as an assassin, and I think you should also play him as an assassin, because otherwise you are just not playing him to his fullest potential. So I'm always trying to get my S2 first, then I'm going to lead into S1. As you can see, I'm getting knock-up with some attack speed, and this is going to help you with your cleaving speed in the jungle especially, and I think the cleaving speed is actually quite decent. It's not the best, but of course it's not the worst, especially with the attack speed increase. You are basically capable of not only clearing your jungle, but also clearing the enemy's jungle because of that clearing speed. It's going to be better the more you play and the more levels and items you have, because now we just build the basic staples. So we've got the first jungle item maximized to the fullest, and now we've got the boots, so everything is looking bright, and now it's about to get omni-oms, because this weapon is actually going to help us a lot in terms of attack damage, attack speed, and some cooldown reduction, as well as getting some health, and the really nice passive where you're about to deal more damage. Unfortunately, this enemy Jan is about to get our Darkslayer. Good thing is that I'm about to kill someone, so 2-3-3. It's not the best score ever, but I was actually quite confident because we led the game with 12 versus 10. And yeah, Jan is quite a unique hero. I've been reading into the lore, so he's supposed to be some kind of painter genius. He has been picked by the master as one, if not the latest students in the universe. He's carrying the Blade of Mercury. It's a unique blade that has been cut in half or has been destroyed, so only half of that blade was available. And he has been painting something on that scroll that he's carrying quite early on in his career, to put it like that. And this scroll is supposed to be the scroll where just the best painters in the world or in this lore can actually do something for. And he has already been showing a really unique understanding on how to paint things and kill Grux here. So this is actually quite something where they kind of put him lore-wise into this sort of super child. He has really lived up to that kind of legend that people were talking about in terms of the scrolls and things like that. And his master was sending him on a quest to a certain mountain where he thought that Jan would be able to achieve all of his skills to the fullest, because beforehand things were holding him back. But the things that were holding him back was mainly his own appeal, his own limitations, because he was already a great student. He was already super capable in terms of drawing things, but he was questioning himself, and this kind of quest where the master was sending him to the mountain did actually help him to really reach to his fullest potential. So that's a lot about Jan, and I think because of all these hero stories, it's kind of conceiving that he is the chosen drawer child, able to get a lot of things done by his drawings, and he can really wield the blade right now, painting things to an incredible terms of quality. And this is the lore that we've been waiting for. Jan is the chosen one, and he's able to turn the tides of the battle in his favor because he just knows to master the arts. So that's about that. I have never ever read anything about the lores before, so now I know that his pal is Roxy, and I know that one of his closest friends is Yue. I think that makes actually quite sense because the dressing style from Yue and him is actually quite similar. So of course that makes sense. I didn't see Roxy coming up in that kind of thing. There is this kind of questionnaire that you can answer, and you get to know a little bit more about the heroes. And I was picking, I don't know, I was picking Sephira because I think Sephira had this kind of style. But we know that Jan was about to enter the Norman lands to get to know Florentine and things like that. So they've got a lot of things going on here, and I think it's actually quite fun to learn something about that, just to get the heroes to know a little bit better. But unfortunately I didn't ever do it, and maybe I'm going to invest some more time coming up with some kind of theories who is about to get some friendships up to the point, whatever. So let's focus on the game again after some lore and history lessons that I wanted to tell you about, because I actually learned about the lore for the first time. So this Zenial move was actually quite smart. He helped me to secure the Abyssal Dragon. Now I have to fight against Grug, but the good thing is, because of my skills, I was able to get a little health back, making me survive this thing. Otherwise I would just have been dead for good. Grug is making fun of his team because he says like, okay, look, my team is not really doing anything, and you can tell that my team is already going to put a lot of pressure on the enemy team. I decided to get Muramasa right now because I just had the feeling that we need to deal with Grug quite quickly. If Grug is out of the way, we can get to all of these lovely pieces in the background. For example, Laville, Yue, and all those sorts of heroes. Again, my combo is still the same. I'm using the second ability I'm using the first ability, and then I'm going in with this knock-up effect, and it's actually quite potent. You're dealing a lot of damage, and especially this knock-up effect is actually quite nice because it makes you interrupt things that the enemy is already planning on. You get this really nice damage boost from your ultimate, so that's something that comes in quite handy, and I think the kit is actually quite useful. Okay, here we go. Unfortunately, it was a kill and an assist. I thought that I would be able to kill both of them, and now it's time for me to get into the thick of the fight, because I just wanted to get this hero dead, so that the Darkslayer can actually put some damage on the tower. And we're going to excel on that, because we are about to get every single tower that is still between us and the core. Gold lead is Valheim right now, but I think in the midfield I'm actually quite happy to have something like that in my first Jan game. Have been upgrading all of my skills right now, so I'm level 15, so now I can maximize whatever I'm going to bring to the table, and there are still some fights open to be fought, and we are going to take it to the very last extent, because of course first game I wanted to win it. Team composition of ours is actually quite exotic. We've got Zenial here for the overall global ultimate. We've got Max here for the overall global ultimate, so that's actually quite fun. I've never seen this combination in any of the games before, and now it's our time to get to the tower. Tower clearing speed is actually not the greatest, as you can see. We do not have the fastest clear ups, but now we have just been securing the last tower. Leville is about to make an entrance. I'm going to kill him using my ultimate, enhancing my attacks. Afterwards I have been following up with my second and my first ability, and I think that's basically it. You just need to pay attention to your abilities, go into the fight with your second one, then answer it with your first ability, and then if you've got ultimate up, use your ultimate when enemies are clumping into some kind of enemy pile, and you're good to go. And if we're taking a closer look on the results, it was actually quite decent. Of course not the best, but with 9.7 I'm fine. 8.9, I think that's the third best amount of gold. Damage can be a little bit better, damage taken can be a little bit worse. Fight participation is second best, so I think I paid my duty as a jungler. So this was my beginner's guide on Jan. Tell me what you think about it in the comments, and have of course a really nice time on the battlefield.